Hey! Alright, first and foremost, I am a blogger, not a vlogger. So this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I was going to write a blog about this, but I decided to do this whole vlog thing because it's kind of a personal one. And the best way to do it is to speak it. Okay, let's just get straight into this. I suffer with anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was 11. I have had it now for nearly 10 years. And it's just a part of me. It makes up who I am. It's always been there, and it probably always will. I remember being in high school and having lots of panic attacks, and I had lots of stomach aches. Before I knew what they were, I was told that it might be appendicitis, so I was in hospital, I had tests and things, and then they all came back clear, obviously. And they were like, oh, you're fine, you know, that you're fine, there's nothing wrong. But there was, because I didn't change anything, I still was having all the same problems. All I knew is that it wasn't a physical, medical problem. From that point, went back to the doctor, and they started talking to me about anxiety. Now, this is like nearly 10 years ago now. And anxiety and mental illness were not at all really talked about. I hadn't heard of it, I'd never really been, never really even heard of the word. Everybody gets anxious. I was kind of like, how can this be anxiety? I'm not nervous about anything. There was lots of talking and you know, monitoring me, and thankfully it was only really 12 months of severe symptoms like that, like the panic attacks and things. I met this great woman. She was the school nurse, and she really helped me, and yeah, from there just kind of, you know, not sorted myself out, because it never goes, it's always going to be here, but I managed to sort of break that vicious circle. As a way to deal with my anxiety, I decided to start making music and performing, which is kind of weird because when I was in school I was quite nervy, and obviously the anxiety made me worry a lot, so you would have expected that performing would be the last thing that somebody would want to do. But for me, it was the kick that I got out of performing. Afterwards I would feel amazing, you know, and I could just be somebody entirely different on stage, and it really, really helped me, and you know, it's been something that's helped me ever since. The weird thing is as you get older, or as I've got older, I don't know if this is a generic thing, but the anxiety has shape-shifted and sort of changed into being not so much, I don't really get panic attacks these days, other than the odd one. Probably get like one a year now. Now it's more in my mind. So one of the big things is self-confidence, low self-esteem, a negative self-opinion, you know, refusal to believe that anybody else that's complimenting you is saying anything that they genuinely mean, which can make it sound awful, because when somebody compliments you, most people assume that when you say like, oh no, I'm not, you know, I'm not that good at singing, or, you know, that performance wasn't great. People think you're saying it to get more compliments. For me, that was not the case at all. Getting compliments is actually, I found it really awkward to take, because I did not believe that, and one of the massive downsides to performing and making music is that you are going to come across negativity. You aren't ever going to play the best that you physically can in every show. It's not possible. Every song that you produce is never going to be the best that you've ever been. They're all going to be good and they're going to be bad. And as I've got older, I've found that harder to deal with, I guess. The negative opinion sort of kicked in as I left school and started college. Stupid things like all my friends having boyfriends and I didn't. And I would be like, what's wrong with me? What have I done? I'm too fat, or I'm too skinny, or I'm too tall, or I don't wear the clothes that those girls wear, and I don't do my makeup the way that those girls do, or have my hair the way that I should do. And it was really, really tough. And I just kind of, as a teenager, I just felt completely like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that I wanted to be someone that I couldn't be, or ended up not wanting to be. To cut a long story short, I ended up in a very dark place very recently, and I had to go through some therapy, and I came out of that therapy at the beginning of this year. I've come out a better and stronger person and a happier person. You know, people would say things like, "That was a great set, you know, you played a great gig," and I just would not believe it. It would be really hard for me. I would think they were lying just to please, you know, just to get on the right side of me. And I found it really, really hard to accept. Whereas now, I might not necessarily believe it, but I can accept it. But yesterday, I performed on the Honeybox, which is this great local music platform for, it's a bit like Jools Holland, you've probably seen it. I'll put a link in so you can check out the other episodes. And it was, to be honest, the most terrifying thing I've ever done. But I came out of it at the end feeling really proud of myself, because if you'd have told Anxiety Emily that that's something that she was going to do, she wouldn't have believed it. Although I was terrified, and I've watched the video and I look terrified, I did it, and I just feel really, really proud of myself. And I just kind of wanted to do this to say that I know a lot of people out there who are struggling, who are going through hard times, who find it very hard to see any kind of good in the world, or any light, or any future goal or positivity thing. And I just want to say that you are amazing and you can get through this. One of the first things you have to accept is it's probably never going to go, but you can find a way to manage it. There are ways of dealing with it. You're not alone. There are people who are willing to talk about it and share their problems. Do not be afraid. We should not be in a time where nobody dare talk about it because they don't want to be attention seeking, or they don't want people to look at them differently. I don't want to be treated any differently just because I've talked about my anxiety. It doesn't stop me from being who I am. I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I've never really spoken about it in a video before. I'll put some links to websites and things where you can find out information locally or just online about anxiety. Let's just talk about it. One of the worst things I've heard is people say that mental illness isn't an illness because it's just in your head. You can still walk, you can still talk. It's just people being dramatic. It is not people being dramatic. Having anxiety has changed that. I'm still confident, but I struggle still. And I'm not afraid to admit that. That's not a weakness, that's just my life. If you are suffering though, reach out, get some help, talk to a friend. If a friend, you have a friend who's suffering, speak to them, help them. If it wasn't for my friends and my parents, I wouldn't be where I am today, full stop. I appreciate everything that they've done for me in the last, everybody who's affected my life in the last 10 years. It's been amazing and I just feel so grateful. The reason I've made this video is not at all to highlight my anxiety or to make people, I'm not interested in attention. I'm interested in talking about it, because when I was first diagnosed with anxiety, I didn't know what it was. I felt very alone. Nobody spoke about it really, and we've come a long way in that short time, and it's amazing to see.